Okay. Their volume on. Hi, guys. We'll wait a couple minutes to see if anyone else joins.
Mhm.
Pretty nice.
I know. There we go. Christy.
Mhm. Mhm.
Oh, Becky. See me? It's good. See me. Bob's got the background, I think, going.
Yeah,
Fancy
I think
background.
no, you can do it now or you blur it out.
Oh.
Yeah.
We'll give it a few more minutes, everyone. Wave if you can hear me. Yay. So, 2 more minutes.
Oh, there's something in the chat. Mhm.
Gonna be bringing or cutting in there. Jeff said he was thinking about moving that dog up here.
Oh, yeah.
Where is Jeff?
In there, maybe?
Few more coming on. We'll wait another 2 minutes, then we'll get started. Let's go.
Mhm.
There's 3 right there.
Mhm. Yeah, true.
Shall we?
Yeah. Ready?
Shall we? 11:34. Ready?
Mhm.
Okay. Welcome, everyone. We're going to get going. We have a few, over half the team, if you include Trudy. That's 3 right there. So that's always fun to see. I hope you don't mind doing it this way. We just wanted to touch base. It's all positive, but we just want to go through things and maybe have questions and how it's going so far. We've just come off our first road trip. We really had a good time. Got to watch everyone grow a little bit on the ice and off the ice as well. As you know, we're grade 10s, 9s, and 8s, and this is what we'll probably be in for the first part of the season. Both Brittany and I think that we have the capability through growth and watching these players mature to actually compete, and this forces them basically to be aware, ready, and push themselves every game. And they know that. We've been talking about that a lot. And I just want to say, I believe that they can do this, and it'll make them all better people and better players. So that's my thoughts. And so far, it's been a pleasure with them on the ice. They've been so respectful. Britt, anything to add just to?
Yeah, I mean, it's been a really fun start. I think even in the last 3 weeks, Owen and I have noticed some really big improvements. And I think that shows from our last weekend, especially the game on Saturday. I think we were a bit tired by the time Sunday rolled around, but our goal this year is really to focus on development. And I know that the girls have heard that from us a lot in the last couple of weeks, but that will be our primary focus for the next little while. So it'll be a lot of focus on details and really making sure that we're building from a strong foundation so that when they move on to next year, they feel really confident going into next season.
One of the things we found very fascinating, just to give you an idea how far they've come in 3 weeks, 4 weeks, is I know Shawnigan beat Rush. I think it was 5-1 and 5-4. And so going into that, we thought, oh, this will be very interesting. And yet I believe we can pick Shawnigan apart a little bit more next time. And it just goes to show you how the gap can change very quickly. And I think the girls knew that, and they felt really good about that. Some of the things we wanted to talk about is just maybe some protocols, road trips. We've had a few questions from parents about hotels, for example. Can we stay at the same hotel? Is it a good thing or a bad thing? That's a big one for us. And we encourage parent support. Being at the hotel is fine, but respecting what our agenda is. So, in the past, we've gone from not being in a hotel, parents not being at the same hotel, to saying, yeah, we that's fine if you're there, but respect our time. For example, if it's a team breakfast, if you can respect and maybe not join us for breakfast, no offense, but it's kind of be a distraction if mom and dad are down there at the same time with all the kids. And so those are the things that you have the itinerary. Give us our time. We try to give the kids free time, and when we do, that's parent time. You're more than welcome to take them for lunch or dinner or a walk or however that works. So I know it's a change maybe from minor hockey, but it's just something that we do here at the academy, and Coach Brittany and Coach Owen, we take care of them every time we're on the road. So I hope that's okay. It's just one of the questions we had. Something we've started right now is we just started it yesterday, as we are and will go through a lot of video. We did team video yesterday, and we also encourage individual time with every player. Ask us, sit down. We talked to every player this road trip, but it was a general sense, basically front of the bus, a few questions, how are you doing, checking in. But we get into more detail as time goes on as well, about details, through video. So that's starting to happen as well. We've got full video of the Shawnigan game, which is great. I've also got some clips of the Rush game, but I tend to think, the so-called latest video is always the best, because some things can happen, change 2 weeks, 3 weeks. So once you start getting that far ahead, it's tough to go back to the very first video when they've already corrected stuff. So that's where we are there. The other one we have written down, just so you know, is report cards. Coach Owen and Coach Brittany, we do give a grade on report cards. So it's something that we value. The grade is basically, participation, but effort, professionalism, how you're doing in the game, are you advancing? Also in the gym, we definitely think that's an important part of this. So you do get graded for being in the academy by Coach Owen and Coach Brittany, and that becomes I think it's a phys ed mark. And is there one more?
Yeah, so their time in the gym counts as their PE grade. And so Jordan will give them a letter grade for that time. And then Owen and I give the letter grade for hockey. That's how it shows up on their report card. And that counts as an elective on their academic transcripts. And so we do report cards 3 times a year. And one question that often comes up when we talk about letter grades for hockey is if a player is injured, then if they miss a week or miss a couple of months of practice, what does that look like on their report card? We are pretty fair when that happens. As long as that player is coming to school and focusing on their rehabilitation, then of course that's what their letter grade will reflect. So that's usually what comes up when we talk about marks. Otherwise, it's pretty straightforward. Participation and effort is what it's based on. Cool.
Next thing for me, I just want to go over what every coach is a little different on this, but what our cell phone policy is. And I don't know if they've shared it with you or not, the players, but one thing we do is we do take the phones away, or we tell them to put the phones away during any team meals. I think that way they're interacting a little bit more with the team organically without looking down at their phones. So that's something that's very important. So we monitor that. We had one, it's not even a challenge, but just one scenario whereas, oh, I need to check in. I need to call my mom just to make sure I'm okay. Otherwise, she'll be mad, sort of thing. And of course, we said, yes, phone your mom, but then put your phone away. But once we get into that, just please know that during team meals, we do like to put the phone away. In the dressing room, there's no phones during the games and traveling. We do keep phones with the girls overnight. We've taken away in the past sometimes if it gets out of hand, but I feel safer if they have their phones. I hope that makes sense. I know some coaches like to say, oh, take them away so they can sleep. I find it safer if they have their phones just in case. That's all. It's just better communication for me and Brittany. So
yeah, so back to road trips. I know Owen talked a little bit about free time and family time and what that looks like. This past weekend, we didn't really have a lot of free time because we were straight to the game, straight to the hotel, and straight home after our Sunday game. But if we're ever on a road trip and you have family in the area and you want to take your daughter to a dinner with their aunt and uncle or cousins or somebody, as long as you let Owen and I know, just so we can kind of plan around that, they will normally have more free time in their itinerary. Usually the girls during that time will do some homework or study. But if you, like I said, if you have family in the area, then just let us know and we can plan that properly because that's okay for us. But definitely happened in the past. We'll be in Toronto and a player has aunts and uncles or a sibling in university that they want to go see. That's totally fine.
The next one for me, and then, again, these are just things that kind of popped up along the way this year already is, so, for example, we're in Shawnigan and a couple of players have family there and they want to go see the family after the game. When does that happen? How does that happen? Preferably, we like you get in the dressing room, you do the quick warm down. I call it a warm down. Everyone jokes at me, but I still call it a warm down. And then after that, there's usually 5 minutes or so before they could go out and see family if you're waiting in the lobby or outside. Again, we're all new to this. The players are new to this, so there's been no wrong this far. But as long as we all know what the kind of standard is, everyone feels a little bit more comfortable there. I mean, there's family, there's, you go places and there's a lot of relatives, and other places there might not be anybody. So we try to do our best with that. So it's usually after the cool down, before they kind of get ready to go, they can go out and visit. And that way we're kind of all in that schedule, if that's okay. Brett, anything on that?
No, that covers it.
Yeah.
The other thing I wanted to talk about was just our medical staff and the clinic at the rink. So I always recommend that if someone is injured over the weekend, or maybe they're feeling not great and they haven't talked to Owen or I about it, or they haven't talked to our athletic therapist at that game about it, check in at the clinic first thing Monday morning, just so that we can deal with it before the next weekend comes up. Because as we get into the next couple of weeks here, especially in November, we have back-to-back weekends pretty consecutively. So I want to make sure that if anyone does get injured, they can be seen right away, treated right away, dealt with quickly, and they don't have to miss any games because they've been really proactive in taking care of it. Now, usually I find that the girls are pretty good at communicating that to us, so we can handle it pretty quickly. But if your daughter comes home and she's, having headaches because she got hit in the head and you might think she has a concussion, just send Owen and I a text or give us a call, and we can make sure that that gets dealt with quickly in our clinic here. And I know that sometimes families will have either physios or massage therapists or doctors that they've used for many, many years. And it's totally fine to stick with who you're comfortable with. But if you don't have someone that you normally use, that's kind of what our clinic is for, just to make it a little bit easier for you guys so you don't have to drive around after school and find an appointment somewhere. They can just deal with it while they're at school. Cool. Yeah, so that's the clinic.
Any questions so far? Anybody? Okay. It's good. We can follow up with that
Yeah, so if
question.
there are any issues with academics or courses, the girls can always come ask Owen and I about it, especially if it's technical stuff. Like if you're having trouble with Moodle and sort of online learning, come talk to Owen and I. We do have an education advisor at the rink all day long. And so her name's Christine Nemar. And so she can sit down with any of the kids and go through kind of what they're having challenges with. What most of our teachers will frequently say to them is to really be proactive when they're having issues so that they don't start to fall behind in any courses. So as long as they're really proactive, if they have a day where they really can't figure out how to do something and they need help in some one-on-one time with the teacher, that's available to them. So as long as they're talking to Christine and letting her know that they need help, that's available. Now, the lunch block is when our teachers have a whole bunch of time free. The other time that girls can ask for help is during their actual class time in math. So Christine is here at the same time that the math teacher is here, and she can help whenever our kids need help. Does that answer your question, or is that helpful? Okay. Yeah, and if Gracie needs extra tutoring and stuff, we actually have a math tutor that we recommend. Now, you might have a math tutor that's closer to home for you, that might be easier, but that's definitely something I would say probably 80% of our students have a math tutor. A lot of them, yeah. It just helps.
Yeah.
It's been that way every year. I think it's just a course that they struggle with the most. Yeah. So if she needs help with that one, okay, perfect. You have one. Amazing. Any other questions right now?
Perfect.
Cool.
So I want to touch base on communication, how we're communicating with, in case you don't know, we do have a team chat, WhatsApp, under the WhatsApp group chat. So the coaches are on that, all the players are on that, and we do communicate a lot through there. And Team Snap, in my head, Team Snap's kind of more so for the parents. So we'll communicate more and more on Team Snap, so you're updated as well as best we can. Then the other thing that kind of ties into communication is the social media part of it as well. For example, I use Instagram a lot for coaching and send video clips and things that are inspiring, and I know Brittany will too. So we've got all the kids on our Instagram. I've got them as a group, and I will always send them stuff. Like the other night, Brendan Gallagher gave a puck to Toronto Maple Leafs little kid that was in the stands and flipped the puck over, and he pounds his chest, and it was such a good moment. I shared that with all the players because I thought, there's a player that's actually doing a puck to a Toronto Maple Leaf fan, but then kind of making that little joke of, so, that's something that we're sharing just to show that, we're connected to Brendan, and So I do use social media to communicate through that. And then I'm going to lead into the expectation of social media from all the players. We've talked to them about this, and we'll talk to them this about again is please make sure, I like to say family and hockey. That's what should be posted. Family and hockey. Post family, post hockey. Keep it simple, keep it, just clean. We do have to monitor what's being posted, and there's always other schools. There's Hockey BC, there's Hockey Canada. They all have to do their due diligence in making sure that when they're interested in players, they do check their social media accounts. So it's just common sense. But these scholarships, when you go into grade 13, they're worth $250,000. They need to do their due diligence to make sure that their athlete is doing everything appropriate, if that makes sense. So just if it's a message for parents, social media can be a great thing. It can also be things that can cause issues at times. So, Britt?
Yeah, I mean, we've already talked to the girls about this, so they're pretty well aware of what our expectations are there. We rarely have issues with it, but I do know that university coaches check if they're looking at a player. They will always screen their social media to make sure that they're getting the type of person that they want. And the best way to do that, the best way to protect yourself as an athlete is to just be really safe and not post anything that might be controversial in any kind of way. I think the girls get that. They're pretty good at managing, but it's also important for us to communicate that to you guys, just so they're protecting themselves and protecting that integrity.
Yeah, that's perfect. I mean, even it goes as far. It goes as it can go as far as even being in Delta Hockey Academy. They're on both sides, male or female. There might be players not even here because of something that was done on social media. It's just part of all of this. So keep it good, keep it positive, and let's use it to our advantage for everybody. That makes sense.
Mhm. Yeah, so one thing that we have to talk about is disciplinary issues. They rarely happen with our team. But just so you guys are all aware, we follow school rules and also the rules of our league. And so there's pretty specific rules that were emailed out a couple of weeks ago to all of our parents. And they're related to alcohol and drugs and vaping. I know our team's pretty young, so I don't think that's really an issue for any of them at this age. But just so you guys know, we have very specific rules that we follow. And if there's any need for disciplinary issues, we will be in contact with that player and also with their parents just to go through what that looks like for them. If you guys have questions about that, just let us know what those rules are. Yeah, I don't think we'll have any trouble with our team.
No. School rules, we like that actually.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
good.
The last thing we wanted to go through, I think, was just a couple of volunteering projects that we're looking at in the next couple of months. So we always like to do one team event where the girls we're focusing on a volunteering project together as a team. And then we also like to do one as an entire academy. So they look a little bit different because we have 160 student athletes at the academy. So it's a little different for all of us, but for our team, it will be a little bit more intimate, sort of a team building experience, but also we believe that it's really important for them to get involved in their community, to give back a little bit. So we will share what that will be in the next few weeks. Owen and I are still organizing the details of it. Yeah. I see a question on the side that says, what's the name on Instagram? Is it the Delta Academy name? Is that what you mean? So if you wanted to follow the Delta Hockey Academy on Instagram, it's delta.hockey.academy. And then the girls' names can be whatever really they like on Instagram. I think mine is B Kirby. Kirby is my last name. Their names it can be their name. It's totally fine. As long as there's like no swear words.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. think yours is Coach Owen. Yeah.
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 That's it.
Mhm. Any other questions? Easy.
Yeah.
All right. Well, if anything comes up over the season where you're not sure about ice time or how something's going, Owen and I are available. We've said that to the girls too. If they ever aren't understanding what a system might be or why they're struggling with something, we want to sit down with them and go through that if they're having a hard time with it. It's always hard when you sit with something and you let it stir for too many weeks. We'd rather just talk about it and get it out in the open and help them through those problems. Same goes for you guys. Like if you need to chat about something, we're available. So feel free to come in and meet in person. I know that's a little bit trickier right now because you have to get screened before you come into this building. But we're always available for a phone call too if anything comes up and you have questions.
Actually, Brittany and Owen,
Oh, there's
this is
Owen's
Todd.
Instagram.
I just have a question, if possible, on the rolling of lines. Like, is that going to be the same thing all year long? Or is it going to be certain, like a power play group or PK, so a group for that?
Guys.
Thank you. Signing off.
Oh.